From the murky waters of the sportsman's paradise, stories emerge. Stories of the generations of people who have shared in the bounties of the land. Stories of communities that have persevered through natural disasters. Stories of the abundance of fish, wildlife, and adventures that create an ecosystem rich in diversity. And from the silted banks of the mighty Mississippi to the soggy marsh bottoms, from the tops of towering pine forests to the depths of the salty Gulf, human and animal have shared this fortune for centuries. Enjoy these stories as told by outdoor journalists who travel across our state, documenting the adventure, sportsmanship, and heritage that make us Bayou Wild.
Welcome to Bayou Wild. It's a rainy Monday here at Morton's. I'm Martha Spencer along with Don Dubuque. What do we have lined up for today?
Well, when the weather clears up and you can go fishing, we got some tips from the Crappie Psychic.
Well, the area I mainly fish here, back of Houma, the Bayou Black area off the Intracoastal Canal. You want to take those offshoots, those little canals off of the Intracoastal. You want to look for some dark water. So what I mean by that is that when the marshes start draining into those canals, it's going to bring a lot of bait fish with them, a lot of small shrimp. It just feeds a lot of feed for the fish into those canals. So you want to look for that mixing water. And what I say by mixing water is the Intracoastal stays pretty muddy, kind of like the Mississippi. So when you go down one of these little canals off the Intracoastal, as soon as you see that water changing color, like where the dark water is meeting the muddy water, you want to start fishing.
We took baseball legend Roger Cador, which is very appropriate, World Series time, down to a mixed catch of fishing down at the Rockin' Dock Lodge.
We're at Folsom Hole. The barometric pressure is dropping. It's a good sign.
Barometric pressure, it plays a key part in fishing. People may not know that, but the Crappie Psychic was able to give us that type of information, and it made things a lot simpler for us.
The variety of fishing, it's fun getting out there, and you can always find a little shade on the freshwater side. You're not just out in the open water.
Then you stepped into the kitchen with the Crappie Psychic's wife, Janelle Fulse, who is just a whiz in the kitchen, and she made some Catty Patties for y'all.
Yep. Sounds interesting? You'll love it. Stay with us.
This grease is very, very hot, so I'm going to use the good common sense I was born with and the wisdom my mama gave me, and I'm going to use this to put it in the grease. Okay, you want to hear a lot of frying going on. Woo! You hear that? Okay, now, as you know, just about everything in that patty was already cooked. You're not fooling with raw fish here, so these are not taking long. All you're doing is you're getting these to a nice golden, crunchy brown and a good, safe eating temperature with the egg.
Closed captioning made possible by Ceto.com. Become a member.
Shirts. Both regular tee and long sleeve dry fit are a perfect fit for any outdoorsman or woman who lives and plays in Bayou country. And they make perfect gifts. Go to BayouWildTV.com.
If you're lucky enough to bag a deer or a hog this season, bring it here to Double D. Double D processes hogs and exotic game and guarantees your product is always the meat you brought to Double D.
Double D Meats in Bogalusa, home of country smoked, spicy jalapeno cheddar, and other customized flavors.
Bring your deer or your hog here to Double D, where you always get your meat back in return. It's worth a drive to Bogalusa from anywhere. Double D.
Today we're down in Houma at the Rock and Dock Lodge. Now this is the compilation of Rick and Michelle Morales. They were the original owners. They teamed up with Captain Clyde and Janelle Foltz and made a great marriage because this place is gorgeous. And of course with Janelle's cooking, probably one of the hottest places to eat in Houma.
This is a beautiful place. The lodge, as you can see, is right on the Intracoastal Canal. It's just gorgeous and quiet, and it's right there. Everything's right here. Once you come here, you don't have to leave.
It's completely set up to accommodate a number of fishermen. It's got the dock. You step right onto the boat from the time you get ready to fish. And what came out of this trip was the idea of freshwater fishing. So we went to Captain Clyde. We asked him, basically if somebody wants to get started in the freshwater fishing, give us some basic suggestions for doing that. And we got that for him.
Well, the area I mainly fish here, back of Houma, the Bayou Black area off the Intracoastal Canal. You want to take those offshoots, those little canals off of the Intracoastal. You want to look for some dark water. So what I mean by that is that when the marshes start draining into those canals, it's going to bring a lot of bait fish with them, a lot of small shrimp. It just feeds a lot of feed for the fish into those canals. So you want to look for that mixing water. And what I say by mixing water is the Intracoastal stays pretty muddy, kind of like the Mississippi. So when you go down one of these little canals off the Intracoastal, as soon as you see that water changing color, like where the dark water is meeting the muddy water, you want to start fishing.
Bluegill.
Now you can go in the back and you can catch them in the clear water right after daylight and maybe an hour before dark. But once that sun comes up and it gets bright, those fish are heading for deep cover.
Red-breasted perch.
I like fishing under a carp. So you'd be fishing under a carp with a little jig, and of course my Crappie Psychic trailers and Crappie Psychic ammo really increases your odds of catching more fish. But you can also fish a little spinnerbait. Some guys, they like to feel that thump. I like to watch that carp. I'm the visual guy. I like to watch that carp, see what it's doing. Other people like my son like to feel the thump. But so there's some different varieties of what you can do out there.
Today was kind of a special trip. Roger Cador recently retired from Southern University as their head baseball coach. Of course, he's a longtime baseball guy. He played for the Atlanta Braves. And this year, he was recently inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, which is quite an honor.
Roger Cador's career as Southern University baseball coach began quite humbly. His first task was to sort through ragged, dirty uniforms and a few pieces of much-worn equipment that were stuffed into an old, rusty grocery cart. From that beginning came historic moments for the Jaguars that brought national attention to the program and, in time, to Lee Hines Field on the southern campus.
He did a yeoman's job and had some great players. I mean, super athletes. Played in the big leagues. First guy to win, a SWAC game in the NCAA playoffs, and many other good things that he did in starting what I would consider in a very, very tough environment regarding resources.
Well, Roger, in his time, he was very busy with coaching and recruiting. He really didn't get a lot of time to enjoy himself, so he's starting to do a little bit of traveling, and one of the things he's got on his list to do is fish.
I grew up on the island side of Falls River, and I swam and fished in Falls River quite a lot, and we were catching crappies and brims and bass, and all it was done from the bank or a wharf with a pole. We used to get the poles and make them ourselves, and it was really a great experience. I did a lot of swimming in that river, and the memories run deep of that great experience.
It's the beginning of something big. Beginning of something big.
Well, my short term is that I do a lot of community service, which is important. I speak to kids in the high schools. I'm on a lot of committees with Alzheimer's and things that help people who are in need. And the other thing I do a lot, Don, is I travel. I wanted to do that. I planned when I decided 5 years ago I was going to retire. I planned to do those kind of things, and I'm living up to them.
And we hooked him up with Captain Clyde, folks, the Crappie Psychic, and I tell you what, we had a fun day today.
In baseball, it's a rally. You got a starting point here. The key is, can we keep it going?
Barometric pressure, it plays a key part in fishing. People may not know that, but the Crappie Psychic was able to give us that type of information, and it made things a lot simpler for us.
I took my rally hat off, and then they started hitting.
Right. There you go, double brim. Yeah, I think yours is a little bigger, but you know what you can do? You do this right here. Look, my fish looks bigger.
Add the taste of Louisiana to your next meal. If you like creamy, bold, tangy, or spicy, bring home the taste of Louisiana with sauces from Louisiana fish fry products.
Hi, I'm Donnie Rouse. There are a lot of different reasons to shop at Rouse's.
It's the people. Everybody that works here is just so nice.
Our stores get deliveries 7 days a week.
They have such a wide variety at Rouse's. Everything's in stock. I mean, everything.
We use Rouse family recipes and ingredients found right here in the store.
It's the food. Rouse's food tastes like homemade. And they're local.
Like us.
We also have great prices.
That's the difference Rouse's makes.
The iconic whooping crane is back in Louisiana. If you spot a whooping crane, remember, observe and admire it from a distance. And always report any harmful activity. You can always help the Louisiana whooping cranes thrive by donating to lawff.org.
Thank you to Chevron and the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Foundation for their generous support.
Today was kind of a special trip. Roger Cador recently retired from Southern University as their head baseball coach. He didn't get a chance to fish very much during his playing and his coaching days, but now he's getting ready to fish. He enjoys freshwater fishing, sac-a-lait, being a New Roads guy.
It's the beginning of something big. Beginning of something big.
So he and Captain Clyde really hit it off well. Took him out there to catch some freshwater fish, but more importantly, just really enjoy a great day on the water. Oh, we got a double. We got a double. There you go, double brim. Yeah, I think yours is a little bigger, but you know what you can do? You do this right here. Look, my fish looks bigger.
Grass is important. Fallen trees. Of course, with the fallen trees, you got to be careful because you might get snagged and then you might lose your bait. So a lot of those spots are good for jig fishing, which is totally different from what I do. I'm a caster. A little one. Oh, he might be big enough for Coach. Coach? You make a meal out of that, Coach? Coach said put him in there, Caleb.
You know, and he's serious about what he does. And that's what you call the ultimate professional. He brought us out there and he wanted to make sure we caught what he said we would catch.
And one of the benefits of freshwater fishing is the variety of species that you can catch. And we were pretty much exclusively using Captain Clyde's Crappie Psychic rig up. You've seen that before on the program. Basically a jig head, the trailer, the little scented bead.
Oh, big lake runner.
A leg runner.
Look at the size of that thing. Woo-wee, that's a big fish.
Now, this is one of the species you can catch while you're fishing freshwater down here. It goes by a lot of names. Red ear sunfish is the official name. You see that little red flap on the ear, but they also call them chinkapin and lake runners.
Today was a really great day. I mean, we had a lot of fun with the captain, and you know, we didn't catch all the fish we wanted to, but it was beyond that. We had a really good time. I thought that the crew really meshed well together, and it was a great event.
We caught goggle eyes, we caught freshwater catfish, lake runners, even bass. All right, there's a catfish. Now, when you catch these in salt water, nobody's happy, but they're always welcome when you fish in freshwater.
A brim. A little too small. We're gonna throw him back. It's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the sac-a-lait.
You gotta fish for them. They're out there. They're not easy to find.
Even if you're not targeting, like we went out today, we was wanting just a sac-a-lait. Today was real tough. We're sandwiched in between two high pressures.
We're at Folsom Hole. The barometric pressure is dropping. It's a good sign.
Barometric pressure, it plays a key part in fishing. People may not know that, but the Crappie Psychic was able to give us that type of information, and it made things a lot simpler for us.
The variety of fishing, it's fun getting out there, and you can always find a little shade on the freshwater side. You're not just out in the open water.
Yeah!
Qualifies a hammer?
No.
He's nice.
This guy won't give up. He's the kind of guy you would love to have on your team.
It's a great way to spend a day getting out on that fresh water and coming home with a lot of good fish for the table.
It is like a fishing trip and a swamp tour in one. The big alligators, the bald eagles, the osprey, we saw them today, especially if they're coming down and snatching fish out of the water. And you know, the granivoles, all the different plants we're seeing, and the ducks, and it's just, there's so much wildlife and so much things to see out there. So it's fun, all around fun. It's like you said, it's like a 2-for-1.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
Some things in life smell delicious. Others, not so much. Like a gas leak. Propane, for instance, is naturally odorless. That's why we add strong odorants to alert you if there is a leak. So if you ever smell gas, turn your system off at the tank and call your propane dealer immediately. Propane is a safe and exceptional fuel, and we want to keep it that way.
Get your Bayou Wild Collection soft tee or dry fit fishing shirt at BayouWildTV.com. Show you're a proud Bayou Wild supporter and get both today at BayouWildTV.com.
This is Don Dubuque asking you to join me as a member of the Coastal Conservation Association. For 30 years, CCA has worked in Louisiana to conserve our incredible fisheries, making sure that our fishing is great today and for generations to come. Whether looking out for redfish and specks, eliminating gill nets, building reefs across the coast, or work at the state capitol and in D.C., CCA is doing what's best for the fish and the sport we love so much. Your $30 membership will ensure that this work and our great fishing endures well into the future. Go to ccalouisiana.com and join CCA today.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
Hi guys, my name is Janelle. Many of you know me with the Crappie Psychic. Well, today we're going to be featuring a Catty Patty. And yes, catty meaning catfish. Okay, so what we're going to do here to this already cooked fish, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take all of the sauteed seasonings. Okay, so you want to get all this, and what was in here was 1 large onion, a large bell pepper, and about 3 teaspoons of minced garlic, which was about 3 garlic cloves. I'm going to add 3 eggs, okay? Just going to add 3 whole eggs to it. There we go, 3 eggs. I don't measure my breadcrumb. I use the palm of my hand is about 1/2 cup, 3/4 of a cup. So what I do is I'll pour some in the palm of my hand, drop it in there, and I kind of know So what I just put in here was about 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs. Now, here comes the fun part. Remember what I told you about your hands? Get in there. You want to really, really, really get in there. Because you know why? Your hands are the only thing that's going to tell you if this is at the right consistency. Now, this is when it's really good to have that little helper in the kitchen that, Mom, hey, can I help you cook? Yeah, come help me batter. Okay, so the first step is you're going to dredge it in the flour. When I say dredge it, I mean kind of lightly put some on one side, shake it off just so you can hold it, put some on the other side, back and forth in your hands like this. You're not trying to get a ton of flour on here. The flour with the egg on next is what's going to make the batter stick. Okay, after the flour, this is where it gets really gross. Your egg batter. Next thing we're going to do is, here's where you're going to get your crunch. Now, you're not going to use regular breadcrumbs. To get that crunch that you get when you go to the restaurant and you're like, oh, how do they get those shrimp so crunchy? You have to use panko. Panko breadcrumbs. You can use plain, you can use seasoned. I personally like the seasoned ones. Okay, what I always do is I sprinkle a little bit to start, just like the flour. And back and forth. This grease is very, very hot, so I'm going to use the good common sense I was born with and the wisdom my mama gave me, and I'm going to use this to put it in the grease. Okay, you want to hear a lot of frying going on. Woo! You hear that? Okay, now, as you know, just about everything in that patty was already cooked. You're not fooling with raw fish here. So these are not taking long. All you're doing is you're getting these to a nice golden crunchy brown and a good safe eating temperature with the egg. All right, this is the golden brown you want right here. See this golden brown right here? That's what you were looking for. Look at that, that is gorgeous. Okay, these are ready to be plated up. So coming up next, you're gonna see what type of tasteful creation we're gonna do with these. We're going to plate them up as a main entree with some beautiful sides. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere if you want to see the finished product.
Hi, I'm Donnie Rouse. There are a lot of different reasons to shop at Rouse's.
It's the people. Everybody that works here is just so nice.
Our stores get deliveries 7 days a week.
They have such a wide variety at Rouse's. Everything's in stock. I mean, everything.
We use Rouse family recipes and ingredients found right here in the store.
It's the food. Rouse's food tastes like homemade.
And they're local.
Like us.
We also have great prices.
That's the difference Rouse's makes.
Before I left for commercial break, I showed you the golden brown fried Catty Patty, which by itself is delicious. But we're going to take it up a notch. We're going to bring it to another level. What I have here is, I know you're all familiar with pasta alla ole, which is basically a pasta with olive oil, garlic, a little bit of seasoning. And I'm just going to kind of tuck this little Catty Patty right in here, and you always want to make sure your hands are clean. Just kind of tuck it in right here. We have some beautiful sides with it. Here we have some Cajun roasted sweet potatoes, some nice steamed broccoli. Now, if this is not delicious enough by itself, we're gonna finish this off with some grilled shrimp. So what you wanna do is you wanna take you some medium-sized, fresh, like some brown shrimp. I usually put about 3 on top. Just kind of grill them in the pan with a little bit butter and Cajun seasoning. You don't want too much flavor because your fish has a lot of flavor. Then, here's the kicker. You're going to top this delicious entree off with a creamy lemon basil sauce. Look at this dish. Isn't this beautiful? And let me tell you, it tastes delicious. Because you saw all the seasonings that was in that Catty Patty, the flavor, the crunch. And you know, you don't have to get this extreme. If you don't want to plate up something like this, stick it on a hamburger bun. You don't want to cook it, you want to eat it, come on over to the Rockin' Dock Lodge in Houma and come stay with us. I'll cook it for you.
Discover the taste of Louisiana that's seasoned just right. Boiled to perfection. Enriched with tradition. A taste that's savory, crispy, and a little sweet. Discover the taste of Louisiana fish fry products.
Hello, my friends. This is Louisiana native Zachary Richard. I cherish the outdoor experiences that make our state so special. And for the first time in over 60 years, whooping cranes are back in Louisiana. Wildlife and fisheries need your help as these beautiful birds resettle in our state. If you spot a whooping crane, observe it from a distance, and if you witness anyone harming one of these very special birds, call the number on the screen.
This message is underwritten by Chevron.
This is Don Dubuque asking you to join me as a member of the Coastal Conservation Association. For 30 years, CCA has worked in Louisiana to conserve our incredible fisheries, making sure that our fishing is great today and for generations to come. Whether looking out for redfish and specks, eliminating gill nets, building reefs across the coast, or work at the state capitol and in D.C., CCA is doing what's best for the fish and the sport we love so much. Your $30 membership will ensure that this work and our great fishing endures well into the future. Go to ccalouisiana.com and join CCA today.
Thanks for watching Bayou Wild TV, and remember, check out our website, BayouWildTV.com. You can get our merchandise. We've got tech shirts, t-shirts, camo hats just in time for hunting season.
And if you miss any of our programs, you can go back and watch back episodes at BayouWildTV.com.